Welcome to Gateway Nature's Spring Migration Challenge. This annual contest is open to all residents of southeastern Saskatchewan and southwestern Manitoba. The competition lasts for the months of April and May. Your challenge is to spot 20 species of migrating birds. This video will tell you everything you need to know to find them. There are two competition categories, a classroom competition for students and an individual challenge for all ages. These are the birds that don't count for this competition. Because they spend the winter with us, they are not migrators. And here come the 20 birds you need to spot to win. They're presented in order by the date they arrived in Moosomin in 2023. You can expect them to arrive around the same time this year. Species number 1. Dark-eyed juncos look like tiny penguins. They are the first migrating birds to pass through Moosomin each year. A huge number of them arrive all at once, and for just a couple weeks they will be the most common birds you see. Then they'll continue on to their summer breeding grounds, disappearing as quickly as they came. Look for them on the ground in groups. Species number 2. Ruby-crowned kinglets are tiny birds, but you can find them by listening for their very loud song, which sounds like this. Look for them in evergreen trees. The males have a bright red spot on their head that makes them easy to ID. Species number 3. Yellow-rumped warblers are the first warblers to arrive and the most common. When you see a fast-moving black and white bird with a little pop of yellow on the side, that's a yellow-rumped warbler. Species number 4. The American robin is the most famous migrating bird. You can't miss him. We are offering a bonus prize to the participant who spots the very first robin of the year. So make sure to send Gateway Nature a text the moment you see one. Species number 5. The yellow-bellied sapsucker is a woodpecker. How can you tell them from the two other species of woodpecker that stay over the winter and so don't count for this competition? All of them are black and white, but with the other two species, the black and white don't mix. They are very distinct. In the yellow-bellied sapsucker, the black and white get mottled together for an overall gray effect. The belly isn't bright yellow like you might expect from the name, but there's a yellowish tinge to the white feathers. Species number 6. American goldfinches look like escapees from a pet store, but they really are wild birds. If you see a bright yellow bird with black on the wings, it's an American goldfinch. You often see them on bird feeders in pairs. Species number 7. You can't miss the return of the Canada geese. Seeing a big V in the sky counts for this competition, so does spotting a flock on the field as you drive down the highway. Species number 8. Like many birds, red-winged blackbirds show sexual dimorphism. That means that the males look really different from the females. The males are jet black with bright red shoulder pads, while the females are a mottled brown. They love marshes, so a good place to look for them is by the football field. You can count a red-winged blackbird for this competition if you see one, but also if you just hear this distinct call. When people say the word sparrow, they usually mean the house sparrow. They are the most common bird of Moosomin and in much of the world, but they're not native to North America. Like rats and pigeons, they live wherever people live. They don't migrate, so they're not part of this competition. Species number 9. Our native white crowned sparrow looks the same from the neck down, but it sports a black and white bike helmet. Look for white crowned sparrows in hedges. Species number 10. Although the beautiful northern flicker is a woodpecker, it doesn't look or act like the other woodpeckers we mentioned. You'll normally find northern flickers walking on the ground, hunting ants. Species number 11. When you're a beginner birdwatcher, some species can be very hard to tell apart. For your species 11, you may count any brown bird with a white belly covered in speckles. It might be a Swainson's thrush, or a gray-cheeked thrush, or a hermit thrush, or a fox sparrow, or an ovenbird. Species number 12. Chipping sparrows, called chippies for short, can look a lot like house sparrows, but you will be able to ID the ones that have a rusty red cap on the top of their heads. Like the dark-eyed juncos a month before, huge numbers of chipping sparrows arrive all at once. Unlike juncos, chippies stay for the whole summer. Look for them on back alley paths throughout town. They love playing in puddles. Species number 13. Harris sparrows are special because they're the only bird that only breeds in Canada. The breeding males have an unmistakable black hood that makes them look like medieval executioners. Species number 14. There are 3 kinds of doves commonly seen in town. Pigeons and Eurasian collared doves don't count for this contest because they don't migrate. You can tell mourning doves from Eurasian collared doves because they're more tan and they don't have a black ring on the neck. Species number 15. White-throated sparrows look like the aforementioned bike helmet-wearing white-crowned sparrows, except they have yellow around the eye. There's a crazy fact about white-throated sparrows that makes them totally unique in the wide world of birds. Half of all white-throated sparrows are vividly colored, aggressive defenders of their territory. Half are dully colored and stay close to the nest. In any other species of bird, the former would be the males and the latter would be the females. In white-throated sparrows, both groups can be either sex. Mating pairs are usually one of each group, so it can be a vivid male with a dull female or a dull male with a vivid female. Species number 16. Lilac bushes and leafy trees are great spots to find yellow warblers. They are curious birds that will watch you watching them. Species number 17. House wrens are very common, but you might not have noticed them before because they're very small and brown. They sing loudly and incessantly, though. Follow this pretty song and you'll soon spot a delicately striped rectangular tail and you'll know you're looking at a house wren. Species number 18. Like cuckoo birds, brown-headed cowbirds lay their eggs in the nests of unsuspecting birds of other species. In this photo, a much smaller bird is feeding a brown-headed cowbird that it somehow mistakes for its own child. The males have chocolate brown heads on black bodies, while the females are light brown all over. Species number 19. Ruby-throated hummingbirds are the only hummingbirds regularly found in Saskatchewan. Tiny and impossibly fast, you'll normally spot them whizzing to and from a hummingbird feeder. Species number 20. For your 20th bird, you can spot any of the many other migrating bird species that visit our area. You might see a merlin, a brown creeper, a black and white warbler, a brown thrasher, a rose-breasted grosbeak, a mallard, or some other feathered friend. You'll almost certainly see a crow. They often arrive as early as March. You may see a large number of cedar waxwings, or they might not get here until June. Tools. There are 2 free apps that can help you complete this challenge. Merlin identifies bird songs in real time. If you plan to take photos of the birds you see, get iNaturalist. It identifies the birds in photos you take, and also works on insects, plants, and more. Reporting. You can pick up a handy competition checklist at the Moosomin Library or just keep track on your own. When May is over, email Gateway Nature the list of species you saw and the first date you saw each one. Participants who saw all 20 species will be entered to win the grand prize. Participants who saw some but not all 20 will be entered to win a consolation prize. The draw will take place June 5th. Classroom version. Teachers who wish to participate in the classroom contest. Track the number of individual students that see each species. So if Alex, Benny, and Carlos all see a dark-eyed junco, that earns you 3 points. The class that earns the most points wins. Pointing out a bird on a class nature walk is a great way to earn a lot of points at once, one for every student. Whatever you see or don't see, please report your findings to Gateway Nature. We're very excited to compile the results.